Welcome back. All right, so 6 games on this Friday night. That is busy for a Friday night. Tomorrow we have 9 games, which is quiet for a Saturday, so kind of balances out. It's almost as if a balanced schedule. I digress. That's crazy talk. All right, so starting things off with Chicago and Vegas. So the surprises, we get those out of the way early. Mrazek versus Hill in this one. Of course, this is Nevada Day, so happy Nevada Day to Vegas. The Vegas Golden Knights came into today 3-2 on Nevada Day. Now it's 3-2-1. And early it looked like this was going to be a laugher for the Vegas Golden Knights. So there's some good back and forth. And then at 1:35 on their first shot on net, Vegas scores. Dorofeyev from Amadio and Carlson. Vegas then looks for another. That one was buried on a 2-on-1 rush. Again, it's their first shot. Vegas looks for another. Entwistle has a rush chance. That saved. And then Carlson tips one in at the net. It was a point shot by Theodore. Nice one-timer. Carlson tips it in. And at 3:52, McNabb with the secondary assist on that. Suddenly it's 2-0. And that was the second shot. So that's goals on back-to-back shots for Vegas. And obviously it looked like it was going to be a long day. And not only that, but this is the only game that's on because the other one started at 4. So I was thinking, well, this could be kind of boring to watch. But anyways, Dorofeyev has a shot that's held. The shots are 4-2 Vegas at 6 minutes. Cotter has a rush chance. That's defended. There's a near miss for Kaiser. Some nice back and forth play. The Hawks press and they score. It's Donato. Makes it 2-1 from Perry and Kaiser at 13:20. He wires that one in close. And then a little over a minute later, Bedard scores one top shelf on a rush from Foligno at 14:39. With that goal, he now has 3 in 8 games. He's on pace for 30 goals. But the way that it's being portrayed, you would think he's in this huge slump and things just aren't working out. 3 goals in 8 games when you don't have line mates isn't bad. Tyler Johnson has a chance that's held the Hawks with some momentum. Things then get pushy on a Markstrom hold, but after the first period, it is surprisingly 2-2. Second period, early power play for Vegas. Eichel to Stone, there's a near miss there. That power play's killed off. Perry has a screenshot, that's held. Foligno can't bury one in close. Vlasic gets shaken up, he's slow to get up. Shots are 3-1 for Vegas at 7.5 minutes. Bedard fires one high as the Hawks press. Donato fires one wide on a turnover. Jones with a net drive that saved the Hawks press. With 1:01 left, Vegas gets a power play. So rolling into the third period, the Hawks then finish the kill. And at 1 minute and 11 seconds, Theodore with the turnover and Radish makes him pay. He buries one to put Chicago ahead 3-2. Well, that's the kiss of death. If you're ahead of Vegas in the third period, we know what happens. So Vegas looks to respond. The Hawks press at 3 minutes. Foligno's denied in close. Vegas clears. There's a press by Vegas at 7 minutes. And then Theodore ties it from the right circle. Eichel with the assist at 11:28. So it's a 3-3 tie there. We get a power play for Vegas. That's killed off with 2:26 left. Vegas gets another power play. That's killed off as well. We're going to overtime. Vegas controls early. Hawks end up getting a power play, however, and Khrushchev ends up scoring at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. That's your game winner. He wires it, and your final score is 4-3 for Chicago. They go to 3-5 on the season with the win. Vegas, the last undefeated team, undefeated no longer. They're 7-0-1. Shots on net, 11-8 Vegas in the first, 6-4 Chicago in the second, 8-6 Chicago in the third, 2-0 Chicago in the overtime, including the shot that matters. Final shots 24-21 for the Hawks. Hawks scored on the only power play they had because Vegas had 4 straight in regulation. Hawks get that one in the overtime. They make it count. Final hits 21-20 for Vegas. Mrazek saves 18 out of 21. Remember, he allowed goals on the first 2 shots, so he did recover from that. Hill saves 20 out of 24 at the other end. So pretty entertaining game. All right, next up, San Jose and the Carolina Hurricanes. So it's Kakinen at one end, it's Ronta at the other. There's a near miss for Kotkaniemi in the first minute, which tells you how this one's going to go. Near miss for Slavin as the Canes press, and they end up getting a power play, and they score on it. It's Teravainen from Jarvis and Aho at 6 minutes and 10 seconds. He buries the one-timer in close. At that point, his teammates said, "We think you should get all the goals today." So things get punchy at 8:04. We end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4. We then had a power play for the Sharks. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Chatfield, which is defended, and a shorthanded rush by Martinook. As the Canes are controlling the penalty kill, so it's killed off. The Canes with some momentum, though, and at 15:10, they score again. It's Teravainen. It's a one-timer on a good cycle. Orlov and Chatfield with the assists. Makes it 2-0. Sharks look to answer, but they're kept to the outside. They can't get to the net. Drury has a rush chance that's saved. There's a last-minute break of a 2-on-1 by Burns. Duclair then is denied at the horn. So San Jose had some opportunities, but at the end of the first period, it's 2-0 Carolina. Second period, power play for the Sharks. That's killed off. The shots are 4-2 for the Sharks, 4 minutes in. Svechnikov is a net feed. That deflects out. Natchez has a wraparound that's saved. The Sharks pressed at 6.5 minutes. Sturm took a puck to the head. He skated off, so he got up under his own power and skated off. Power play for Carolina. There's a near miss for Svechnikov. They cycled. That's killed off. Shots are 7-6 for Carolina with 5.5 minutes left. Drury's denied on a rush. Ferraro was then denied the other way on the next play. Aho has a one-timer that's caught and held. Bunting broke his stick at the horn. He was frustrated. Apparently took an uncalled slash. So it's still 2-0 after 2. Third period. Shots are 2-0 for the Sharks, 4 minutes in. Pretty good pace to the third. This period was flying. Eklund to Emberson is blocked. Teuvo Teravainen fires one wide from the slot, and then he scores the next opportunity at 6:06. Jarvis and Aho with the assists, so it's a natural hat trick for Teravainen, and the hats come down to the ice. Jarvis has a shot that's held as the Canes press. Bunting fires one high on a rush. Orlov has a shot that's saved. More pressure by Carolina. We get a power play for Carolina. That's killed off. And then the Canes get a power play in the final 2 minutes to bring this one home. They win 3-0. They go to 5-4 with the win. For San Jose, they're 0-7-1 with the loss. It is a miserable season for San Jose, who have now been shut out 2 games in a row. Shots on net favor Carolina the whole way through. 15-8 in the first, 11-8 in the second, 13-4 in the third. Final shots, 39-20 for Carolina. Power plays, San Jose 0 for 2, Carolina 1 for 4. Hits, 16-15 San Jose. Kakkonen saves 36 out of 39, and Ronta saves all 20 shots for one of the easier shutouts a goaltender's going to get. All right, next up, Sabres and Devils. This game was bonkers. So it's Comrie versus Vanacek. Good early back and forth. The shots are 2-1 for the Devils at 4.5 minutes. It is the Sabres who get on the board first. It's Peterka from Jost and Power at 6 minutes and 11 seconds. He wires that one on a rush. Devils press for an answer, and they would get it. Holtz buries a loose puck in the crease, or in close. Luke Hughes and McLeod with the assists at 7:41. That makes the game a 1-1 draw. We get a power play for Buffalo. That's killed off. Olofsson has a shot that's caught and held. The Devils get a power play. Pretty aggressive penalty kill. That's killed off. The Devils press after, but then Tage Thompson scores. He puts it around Vanacek. Tuck and Greenway with the assists at 15:42. And then there's a little bit of a scuffle going on, and the referee, you could hear him clearly. You're getting a power play, and then he told him to get the out of here, and eventually it became a 4-on-4. So if you keep pushing at it, the referee's like, fine, you're going to the box too. Devils press for the lead, but after the first period, it is 2-2. Second period, no early setup for the Devils. The Sabres finish the kill because it was a 3-minute power play after that 4-on-4. So, and there will be a hearing for Connor Clifton tomorrow regarding the 5-minute penalty that he took in that first period. Middlestad's denied. The rebound's held. Lazar has a rush chance. That deflects out. The Devils press at 5 minutes. Tuck is robbed on a turnover break. The shots on net are 6-1 for Buffalo. 8 minutes in. Things get pushy on a hole by Vanacek. Comrie gets hurt. It looked like going from left to right that he may have pulled something. That's usually a groin issue. And so he leaves the game. You could tell as soon as he didn't feel right, he wasn't staying in the game. So that takes place, and we'll see how long he's out. Keep in mind, Levi's already been out for about a week. Too many Devils on the ice. The Sabres get a power play. That leads to a Devils shorthanded goal. Haula goes in all alone and buries it at 13:47. The power play is then killed off. That's the important part too. But then Dahlin gets his first of the year. It's through a screen. Samuelson and Skinner with the assists at 17:31. So suddenly we have a 3-3 tie going into the third period. Power play for the Devils. They score on it at 2:09. It's McLeod scoring from Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes. And that one's through a screen and deflects in. So nice play there. Holtz has a rush chance that saved the Devils press. Sabres press are kept to the end outside. And then Cousins would tie the game from Okposo at 12:35, buries that one in close, and it looks like we may be going to overtime. But at 14:17, Haula with his second of the game, scores from Ball and Marino. It's another tip shot, and there you go. 5:33 left. The Devils get a power play. The Sabres do kill it off. With 1:19 left, the Devils ice the puck. The goalie gets pulled, but Buffalo can't manage to tie it. Your final score is 5-4. The Devils 4-2-1 on the season. The Sabres drop to a frustrated 3-5. The shots on net, 15-12 New Jersey in the first, 11-7 Buffalo in the second, 18-4 New Jersey in the third. Final shots, 40-27 for the Devils. Power plays, Buffalo 0-2. New Jersey 1-4. The hits, 11-10 Buffalo. Comrie saves 16 out of 18. Luukkonen saves 19 out of 22. And Vanacek at the other end, 23 saves on 27 shots. But again, very entertaining game. All right, and last up on this board is Minnesota and the Washington Capitals. So it's Fleury versus Kemper. Eriksson Ek has a slot shot, that saved. And then Marco Rossi wires it. It's a fast break goal. Beautiful goal by him. Foligno and Johansson with the assists at 2:17. Power play for the Wild. Kaprizov hits the side of the net. Power play ends up being killed off. Caps press at 7 minutes. The Wild go back to the power play, and that leads to a shorthanded goal. It is Wilson from McMichael and Van Riemsdyk at 9:49. He buries it on a rush off the turnover. Caps finish the kill. They clear it out, and then the Caps get a power play. They score on that, so special teams hurting Minnesota today. Strome gets the goal. He buries it on a cross-crease pass. Ovechkin and Kuznetsov with the assists at 17-14. So Ovechkin doesn't get any closer to the record today, but he does get an assist. And Lettieri has a buzzer beater that's saved, and at the horn, punching takes place because that's the best time for punching other than after a goal. So after the first period, it's 2-1 for Washington. Second period, Caps press at 3.5 minutes, but they don't get shots. The shots on net are actually 4-0 Minnesota at 4.5 minutes. Kaprizov can't bury one in close. Sandin has a shot that's blocked. The Wild rush. Ovi scores, but it's an offside challenge, and yep. And then I saw after the official goes over and kind of apologizes to him, like, sorry about that. But Ovechkin was that close to getting a goal. Doesn't count, comes back on the offside. Power play for the Caps. Then we have 54 seconds of 4-on-4. The Wild press with 7.5 minutes left. We end up with 2 seconds of a 5-on-3 for the Wild, too, with how all the power plays shake out. But the Caps kill it off, and then the referee is informed that he sucks because the fans wanted a power play for Washington shortly after that. Caps press with 2 minutes left, but after the second period, it's still 2-1. Third period, 1:15 into the period on a steal and then a break that he gets. Hartman does it all by himself, ties up the game at 2. Things get pushy on a hold by Fleury. The shots on net are 4 apiece at 6 minutes. Very evenly played game here. Dogpile at the Wild net. The Wild come out of that with a power play. Johansson nearly scores. So close, doesn't go in. The Caps kill it off. Kuznetsov then had a wraparound. That's held. Get a power play for the Caps. Ovechkin has a shot that's held. Wild kill that off. The Caps press with 4 minutes left, but we're going to overtime. In the overtime, the Wild control early. Wilson has a rush that's defended. Kaprizov has a shot that's saved. Kaprizov's then denied on a turnover opportunity. Rossi scores, but goalie interference says no. So Minnesota scores. Their goal comes off. Same as Washington, a goal that came off earlier. Johansson's denied on a fast break. We're going to a shootout, and I believe it was in round 7. Carlson ends up getting the winner. So Washington wins this one in a shootout. They go to 3-3-1 on the season. Minnesota drops to 3-3-2. They have to be frustrated with the results so far. Shots on net, 13-8 Minnesota in the first, 8-6 Minnesota in the second, 17-15 Washington in the third, and in the overtime, 5-1 Minnesota. They desperately tried to win it. Final shots, 41-32 Minnesota. Power plays, Minnesota 0-5, Washington 1-3. Hits, 10-8 for Minnesota. Fleury saved 30 out of 32 at one end, and Kemper saved 39 out of 41 at the other. So Kemper, good bounce-back game after a couple of shaky ones. And now I need to change boards. All right, so the LA Kings and the Arizona Coyotes. This was a game that turned, and you could sense the turn was coming. So it's Copley versus Vejmelka, and 37 seconds in, Arizona gets the lead. It's Michelli from Bukestad and Mosier. He wires it on a rush, and as I put on the board, must listen to me when I've been talking recently about shoot the puck, take the shots. He has a good shot. Michelli has a good shot. Shots are 2-1 Coyotes at 3.5 minutes. Coyotes press at 5.5 minutes. The Kings block, and then via turnover, Anderson. Nice drop pass by Byfield to set him up at 5:55, ties the game. Doughty has a rush chance, that saved, and then at 7:46, Mosier buries a loose puck in close. Schmaltz and Keller with the assists. About 30 seconds later at 8:21, McBain scores from O'Brien and Stetcher. So goalie change, absolutely. Copley comes out, Talbot goes in. It doesn't matter initially. At 8:55, Dursey scores, so it's about 30 seconds later. Coyotes get their fourth. Sanford and Vejmelka with the assists. That's right, Carl Vejmelka with the secondary assist. And that's 4 goals on 7 shots to start the game for the Coyotes. So that's the first shot that Talbot faced when he came in. We get a power play for the Kings. Fiala's denied. The Kings cycled. That's killed off. The Kings go back to the power play. That's killed off as well. Things get pushy on a hold by Vejmelka. And in that first period, there were no shots on net by Arizona after that 4th goal. And yet, I was watching the Arizona feed, and they're like, well, they dominated that first period. And I'm like, did they? So second period, the Kings not giving the Coyotes much space. We get a press by LA at 2 minutes. Then we get a power play for the Coyotes. Schmaltz is denied. The Kings clear. That's killed off. Carcone to Michelli gets picked off. Byfield has a turnover opportunity. That's held. We get a post for Kempe. The Coyotes then rush the other way. Cooley's denied as the Coyotes press. Dano nearly scores. Kings are pressuring. Things get pushy on a hold by Talbot. Kings press with 9 minutes left. We get a power play for the Coyotes. That's killed off. The Kings get a power play. They score on this one. At 16:11, it's Doughty. From Kempe and Fiala, it's post and in. And then with 12.4 seconds left, the Kings go back to the power play. So that rolls over into the third period. The Coyotes finish the kill, but shortly after it ends, Byfield tips one in from Kaliev and Spence at 1:49. The Coyotes press to respond. Engelland has a tip shot. That's held. And then it's a turnover, and Kopitar goes to work and finishes it at 6:54. Kopitar was excellent defensively and offensively in this one. We then get a post for Doughty as the Kings are pressing. It's a tie game at this stage. It does not stay that way. Late in the game at 18:01, Doughty, who had lots of opportunities, they just gave him too many chances, gave the Kings too many chances. Doughty scores from Moore and Anderson. With 1:48 left, the Kings get a power play. So when the Coyotes did pull the goalie late, that was just to get an even number of guys on the ice. They didn't have much of a chance. Your final score is 5-4. The Kings pull this out. They go to 4-2-1 with the win. The Coyotes 3-4 with the loss. The shots on net favored LA in every period. 13-7 in the first, 17-9 in the second, 9-7 in the third. Final shots 39-23 for LA. Power plays, LA 1 for 5, Arizona 0 for 2. The hits 24-21 Arizona. Copley 3 saves on 6 shots. Talbot saved 16 out of 17. He looked shaky at times, but he had a good time in the net as the Kings come back and win. Vejmelka saved 34 out of 39. He had some good saves here and there, but there was just too many opportunities for the Kings. And once their star players got going, there wasn't much chance for the Coyotes in this one. All right, last game of the night, St. Louis and the Vancouver Canucks. It's a very rare occasion where the Canucks actually get a shutout. So there are reasons to be encouraged if you're a Canucks fan tonight, and I'm fighting it myself because, this team looks really good right now. It's Binnington versus Demko. There's an early power play for the Canucks. That's killed off. The shots are 5-0 Vancouver at 3 minutes. So remember, St. Louis did play last night. The trip from Calgary to Vancouver isn't as short as some might think it is. So I understand, back-to-backs are not easy, but still, this is the kind of game Vancouver would usually lose early in the season. Soucy has a shot that's blocked as the Canucks press. There's a post for Lafferty on a rush. Near miss for Besser on a net drive. So lots of almost for the Canucks to this point. Canucks press at 7 minutes. The Blues get pinned down. They can't clear. And at 7:59, Hughes makes them pay. Quinn Hughes scores from Hronek. And then they look for another. So this is another thing that the Canucks aren't doing this year. They have done many times in the past. They're not giving up that goal on the next shift after they score. Besser has a shot that's saved. There's more pressure. The Canucks eventually draw a power play. Kuzmenko has a blast kicked aside. Besser has a shot that's blocked. It's cleared out. That's killed off. The Canucks get a third power play. That's killed off as well. Hughes then has a net drive chance that's saved with 33.4 seconds left. The Canucks get their fourth and final power play of the game. So that rolls over into the second period. Hughes fires one wide. They cycle. It's killed off. Kyrou has a rush chance that saved. Much better start for the Blues, who were outshot badly in that first period. Mikheyev has a shot that's held. The teams exchange rushes, and then there's a face-off win in the Blues zone, and the Canucks make it count. Hughes scores from DiGiuseppe and Miller at 5:47, winning off Kevin Hayes' skate, so a little bit of luck involved as well. Sure. There's a near miss for Mikheyev as they seek more, and then DiGiuseppe splits the D and scores at 6:58 from Myers and Miller, and it was a great pass by Myers to set him up. I love DiGiuseppe. I have for years. I'm so glad to see him finally getting a shot at a regular spot in the NHL. Blues call a timeout, rightfully so. They end up getting a power play soon after, but at 8:52, Miller scores shorthanded early in the power play from Pettersson. It was a fast break. Pettersson gets the puck, and Miller makes no mistake. Kapanen has a shot that's held. That power play's killed off. 3:23 left. The Blues get a power play. That's killed off as well. And so we go to the third period where there would be no power plays. The Blues had the early jump. Suter has a near miss and close. Garland fires one wide on a rush. Shen is robbed on the next play. The shots are 3-1 for the Blues 4 minutes in, but at 6:35, Mikheyev goes 5-hole. Kuzmenko and Pettersson with the assists. Nice play on a net drive by Mikheyev. Shen and Suter were unfriendly in a 4-on-4 results. There were 2 more instances during the rest of this game where there were a full 2 minutes of 4-on-4. And so a lot of this period was played 4-on-4. But the Canucks win this one 5-0. There was no letdown. I kept waiting for the letdown. As a Canuck fan, I'm conditioned. The Canucks go to 5-2 with the win. St. Louis drops to 3-3-1 with the loss. So they haven't had 2 wins in a row all year. St. Louis hasn't had 2 losses in a row all year. They're in one of those weird spots. Shots on net in this game favored Vancouver 19-3 in the first. Both teams had 11 shots in the second. St. Louis outshoots Vancouver 8-5 in the third. Final shots 35-22 for Vancouver. Power play, St. Louis 0 for 2, Vancouver 0 for 4. The hits were 27-11 for St. Louis. Binnington saves 30 out of 35. Demko saves all 22 shots for his 4th career shutout, his first this season. I love seeing Canuck get shutouts because how many years have we seen where they don't get the shutout or they can't play the full 60? Tonight they did. So, again, I'm trying to be guarded in my optimism, but team looks pretty good. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.